Hello, Splinterlands players. Isn't it an exciting time in the game? For sure, it's a lot of fun to be playing this right now. We have big updates coming. We're not sure how quickly, but we'll have new cards. There'll be a land pre-sale. After land is in place and added to the game, there'll be a new kind of game that has items and spells. And so it's just so fun to look forward to Splinterlands. There's also hopefully some big marketing coming into the game pretty soon, and maybe we'll see some new players come in. I admit it's a game that new players don't always get into right away. This is something it's hard for us to fix because sometimes the crypto world is a little too much. We want it free. We want it free. Splinterlands is free to try, but not free if you want to play and earn real rewards. But it's a game that can pay you back relatively quickly if you decide to get into it because of things like this. You do have to come to one of the Hive front ends. You do have to make a post, make a video where you share yourself using a featured card. But they pay you out pretty well for these. You're going to get about $3 to $4 back. And that's a couple packs. But realistically, if you use that on the open market, you'll be able to buy up a lot of cards to improve your deck. So I hope that's what a lot of people do with their rewards from these posts. Um, Let's go ahead and get into this week's challenge. They asked us to use one of the newer rewards card, the Captain's Ghost. This caused me to go ahead and out and have to spend like 5,000 deck on new cards. So some of you that didn't want them anymore, thank you for giving them to me. We'll go out ahead and take a quick look at the card, and then we'll get into my battle that I want to share with you. So, I have him currently only at level 5. It looks like you do really want to push him to level 8 if you're someone that wants to use him in the upper tournaments. But level 5 isn't a bad spot to have him if you're just going to be using him in the gold and ady lower diamond ranges, because at 5 he gets his secondary ability, which is Oppress. He already has Affliction, and these two levels really only add a life. 7 life is still pretty good. He stays at 3 magic damage at level 5. So unless you're going to push him to this 4th magic damage, I'd say you could just put him right here. It's not really that hard to get 40 of the cards, and he's really usable right here, I think. If you want to spend a little bit more money to get his life up, assuming you're playing in gold and you just want to put him at 6, it won't hurt. There'll be a time that 1 HP comes in handy. 7, that's interesting. If you're in diamond, there's not a lot of reason to leave him right here. If you're willing to go here, just get him to 8, spend that extra money, because once you're in diamond, you're going to be playing level 8 people, and you want that extra magic damage to help you out, taking out the tanks and stuff. But 3 is a good number, and you're going to put him up to 4 sometimes. So I like this card right here where I got him at level 5. Now, as to his abilities, Affliction and Oppress. Affliction's kind of interesting on him. I love this ability. Healing can be so powerful. People can build their entire team around healing. And so when you get this on someone and they don't have cleanse, it can ruin their entire team. And in my example, you're going to see that this ability really did save me and get me a win in a game that I very, very easily could have lost. And then you have Oppress. Oppress is kind of interesting. It's a good card on blue, on the water team, because a lot of times you like to use water and no melee or in no abilities. And then sometimes that front end tank can be the cube, or it can be Arturius, or it can be Peaceful Giant. And then he will hit them extremely hard, doing double magic damage. Could you imagine he's sitting there at 4 or 5 damage, and then he hits one of those guys, and they have no attack? He's going to have be hitting for 5. I mean for 10. And even with if one of them has Void like Atreus, you're still going to hit him for 5. That's huge. You can never do that much damage to him. So I do like the card. This only works sometimes, but when it does work, it's probably going to win you the game. Speed's a little bit of a bummer. With Affliction, I'd like him to be faster, because by the time you get this on them, if they have any of the faster healers in the game, they're already going to have got off at least 1 heal. And so that's a bit of a bummer. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to my battles. It took me a long time to get one. I couldn't believe how many games I played where they did not let me use water. Do you see this? They just were like, no, you cannot. I got a win here, but it doesn't really showcase the card very well. It was just like he was just a good magic attacker. It was just good that we were doing magic attack to get through some of the armored cards over here on the life team. The affliction didn't work well because this monster has cleanse, so I don't want to really show it here. I want to show this battle here where I featured the card better. It took some more time, but I really like to show a battle where you're actually going to see the card in action, kind of doing at least one of the things it's meant to do. I didn't get the oppress ability, but I feel like that's going to be there less often. But back here we have an early turn and a kind of early turn healer. And as you can see, I mean, I'm an old school beta level 3 summoner, high mana match going up against the most frustrating character in the game. I didn't know if I could win this. I thought maybe I had a chance because I did have some big magic dealers in the back here, but he was going to silence me, so they weren't going to get even bigger. So we'll have to see what happens, right? I kind of teased it earlier that I'm going to come back and win this fight, but we'll go a little bit quicker. I don't want to make this video too long because I already talked a lot. So the fact that I have some armor does help a little bit, but not a ton. It's going to help me here as we're going to not quite die as quick in that front row. But as you can see, I mean, I thought, I'm like, boy, this match, I'm going to get dominated. I don't know what's going to happen here. But then, boom, affliction. So now, this next turn, he does not get these 2 early heals. And because I had back-to-back magic reflect monsters, just in case I did run into mages, I'm actually hurting his back row where he doesn't have any healing. And then, bam, affliction again. So as you can see, the pirate captain is completely saving me. Because how would have I killed a voided flesh golem with 2 healers behind him, or even 1 healer behind him if he was able to be healed? Here, though, you know, this is still a pretty close match. He still is voided. It's taking me some time to kill him. There goes my armor. I was like, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. He's got some really big hitters in the back row. He gets that poison off, but then I got the silence out of there. He barely survives the poison, so he's able to take that hit. And now right here, with the silence gone, I'm able to finish that person off in 1 hit. And then the magic just finishes off the battle. And it felt good to win this one because I hardly ever beat that guy. It's one of the few guys I wish I would have bought because that card is really, really powerful. So that was my battle. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the look that I gave you at this Captain's Ghost. I think it's a card that is more usable on the blue team than a lot of people might think. He's high magic. He has higher life than some of their other monsters, and that affliction can be important for a team that, while they have some good healers, they're small cards. They're 3 costs and 1 cost. So when you get in those higher mana matches, you're like, man, my healers are weak cards. If I want to play them, I'm putting a 3 cost card on the game instead of maybe a 6 or a 7. So it can help to have a card that you could play and go, you know what, I'm just going to hope that healing isn't that big of a deal, because if they do have healers, I'm just going to get that affliction on them, and they're not going to get the heal. So it's not going to matter that maybe I decide to play a bigger card and not have that healer on the board. So everybody have a good time, keep playing the game, and I will talk to you later.